Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the X's podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Therese.
And we are the X's. And, we like to spend a lot of time talking about couple stuff, relationship stuff, exes stuff, best friend stuff. And, of course, we've dedicated a lot of shows to crime lately, too, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
And that's been a lot of fun. We're taking a little break from that. We're going to be talking about some other stuff today. But before we get away from our crime for the day, for our followers out there who have been following some of our trials, just want to put it out here. Alec Murdaugh, or Alex Murdaugh, or whatever the hell his name is, after being convicted of killing his wife and his son, one of his sons, and also convicted of stealing $8 million worth of money or something like that.
Yeah.
He's back in court. Because in the little woman in the inset picture that you're looking at there was the court clerk. Her name was Becky Hill. And she apparently told the jurors not to believe anything that he said. I don't know how she did that. I don't have all the details. Have you heard any details about it?
I was listening to some stuff yesterday. Apparently she did quite a bit more than that. She wrote a book, a self-published book about the trial. She was pretty chummy with one of the jurors, and they would go into like the restroom together, and nobody knows exactly what they said in there. She accused one juror of something like a Facebook post that her ex-husband had made, but the juror said that wasn't true, that she hadn't talked to her ex-husband in like 10 years, and she had a restraining order against him, and she got dismissed anyways, but that lady did a lot of stuff.
It apparently should be enough to get him a retrial.
Yeah.
Is what we're looking at. So we're going to be going through this whole thing again. Now, the preponderance of evidence and all the other stuff against him, it was quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody monkeying around with juries and doing things like that, you have to give them a second chance. So we will see the rebirth of the Alec Murdaugh trial while his son Buster is starting to face charges for a boating accident and some other things that are going on.
Have they actually brought any charges yet?
They're working on it. Or it wasn't the boating accident.
It was the fellow student.
The other student who was killed on the road.
Yeah.
And yeah. So they're working on bringing charges against him. So the one son who survived is still facing charges. So that family, it's absolutely crazy. Hi, okay. Hi, kids. Pink or hand pink waving. Oh, I guess that means that she's sending a waving sign.
Oh, okay.
It's Mama Sandy there. Sandy Mom is with us, joining us for that. What we're going to talk about today, guys, we're going to have some fun. What we're going to talk about is growing up in the 70s and 80s. More importantly, like in the 80s, but the end of the 70s, early 80s, how incredible that time was and how different it is from today.
Yeah.
I mean, just your kids, my kids, other people's kids watching them today, it's just so insanely different. And if you had to think of the first most glaring difference between kids now and the kids when we grew up in the 80s, what would the biggest difference be? The first most glaring difference?
Cell phones.
Cell phones? Oh, Yep. Communication. Yeah. We had to use payphones.
We had to use payphones.
And if you didn't have change, they had a thing where you could like reverse the charges. You could pick it up and you could give the operator the number and say reverse the charges, and the person who accepts the call on the other end would say, you would record. You're supposed to record your name. So you have a collect call from Scott Jones. Do you accept the charges? But what we used to do so we wouldn't have to spend money is they would say, you have a collect call from, and we'd say, hey, Mom, come pick me up, Jones. Then we just hang up. Nobody got charged, and we got a free phone call. But there was no phone call. There was no phones. When kids went outside, you didn't know where the hell they were.
No.
You know?
You didn't. Nor did they care, I don't think, half of the time.
No.
Long as there wasn't a police knocking at the door.
I think the thing was the sun came up and it was nice out. Parents would kick you out into the streets and basically say, go play outside. And then you knew to come home when the streetlights came on. Remember that kind of thing? When the streetlights come on, oh shit, now it's time to go home.
Or you were hungry. If you got hungry enough, you went home.
If you got hungry enough, yeah. But I lived in a neighborhood for a while, one of those really nice little rural neighborhoods where the parents would stand on the front porch. It was usually the dad, and he would yell your name. Okay, and if you heard it, you were supposed to come right home. So it was like my dad would stand outside. He'd say, "Chris, Scott," and he'd yell it really loud. And we would hear it 2-3 blocks away, and we come home. If we were out of that range, that was called being out of yell phone range. Out of yell phone range. Because we couldn't hear it. Range. But in kids now, they spend probably, I'd say it's a fair shake to say 90% of their time indoors.
Probably, yeah.
Excepting, if they have sports or something like that. But it's not like kids just go and play outside.
Yeah.
Now we have play dates. Do your grandkids have those?
No, not really. I mean, they have friends, like Jessica has friends that have kids that they go visit all of them, but they don't really have play dates. And
they're not at the age yet where you can just send them out, though.
No,
they're not at that age yet.
No.
But it's just they got this whole play date. It used to be just like go find somebody to play with. Go find something. I love this. Go find something to do. Go outside and find something to do. No instructions, no warnings.
Yeah. And then if you got bored and came back in, my father's favorite line was either in or out. We're not heating the outside.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I guess I'm out then.
At every street, you would see this. You would see this gathering of kids on their banana seat bicycles, just hanging around in the streets. And then when they
no shoes.
And then, that was the other thing.
Yeah, they had no shoes on.
No shoes. No shoes. Half of my life, I was barefoot outside. Now I don't even go barefoot in my own house anymore. I mean, but and then this, when you knew where everybody was hanging out, because you drove down the street, you saw all the bikes in front of Timmy's house, and that's where you knew everybody was hanging out.
Yeah.
Now, that was me and the guys were on the bikes and doing that when we were, that was pretty much those ages of like 8 to 12, that kind of range there. Mm-hmm. Did you guys do bikes too?
Yeah, I had a bike. I had a bike for a while.
Yeah, but it wasn't like you go on adventures with. I mean, did girls hang out different? Did girls hang out differently than guys? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I think so. Like Teresa and I used to. Well, I would ride my bike up to her house sometimes, but a lot of times I'd bring like my Barbies, and we play with them in the backyard.
Oh my!
We played Charlie's Angels. Me, Teresa, and Lori.
Well, you had the Farrah Fawcett hair.
I was never Farrah.
No,
they made me be Sabrina.
Oh, you got the lame one.
I know.
Well, she was the smart one. She was the smart one, so that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got? Used to say, if you're bleeding, come home. LOL.
Yeah.
And there's Karen. There's Karen from Crazy Bat Costumes. Love you both, Karen. Love you too.
Hi, Karen.
If you're just joining in, we're talking about the difference between growing up as a kid in the late 70s and the 80s as opposed to today, and all the big differences. And going and playing actually having things you went and played with. Although some of the things we played with were quite deadly.
Yeah. Those lawn darts.
The lawn darts.
Yeah.
And they were like, God, they weighed like 4 pounds, and it was just a heavy metal spike with fins, and you threw it like, of course, when you're idiot kids, you wanted to throw it as high and as far as you could so that the person at the other end of the yard that was standing next to the target didn't know if it was going to hit him or not. And But you know what? Kids didn't get hurt as much either because I think we were more resilient.
Probably.
And maybe even just a little bit tougher. So
maybe, but my brother got hurt all the time. He had so many stitches and broken bones and
who, Matt?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know. We went roller skating one time. He fell, he broke his arm. We went to the hospital, they put a cast on it. 2 hours later, we were back at the same rink skating with his new cast. And everybody's signing it. And just like we're all just sitting there saying, wait till he falls down. That's really gonna hurt.
Yeah, right.
There's another one, and talk about the dumb things. Made jumps for your bikes, and we didn't make stable things. We made these things out of a little piece of wood, and no helmets, no elbow pads and protective gear, and we'd be in the middle of the streets and we'd jump our bikes as hard as we could, and and that was what we did. But yeah, your brother Matt was he was a big one for getting hurt.
Oh yeah, he got hurt all the time.
But we were always out doing stuff.
Yeah. Skateboards.
Skateboard. You didn't want to stay home because first of all, at best, if you had a really cool cable TV, you had like 12 different channels to choose from. Yeah. 12 people. 12. And one of them being PBS, which doesn't count as a channel. It's a fundraiser.
But back in those days, you also did not have control over the TV. Like my parents had control over the TV pretty much. We had to watch what they watched or wait until they were busy doing something else. Or
we waited all week for Saturday morning cartoons because they would give us that. But that was it.
Maybe.
Till college football came on, and then you're out.
Well, my dad was not a big sports watcher. I would have to say that. He was not a big sports fan, period. But the boys always got to take over. Like I remember Matt always had to watch that stupid Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom. Oh my God. I hated that crap.
Marlon Perkins. I mean, the guy, then he was about 140 years old. And he was the guy who would sit in a helicopter, and he had this big muscle guy with him named Stan. And Marlon Perkins would be narrating. He'd say, now Stan's going to go wrestle the giant anaconda. And you could just see Stan looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom. I mean, that was entertainment. And then somewhere around 1980, I want to say 81 is when MTV came out.
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe 80 or 81.
Sounds about right. It sounds about right. Right around there.
That's when MTV Music Television actually had something really novel. They had music.
Yeah, right.
There were no pageant moms. There were no pregnant teens. There was none of that shit. It was actually music videos. And we didn't know what was coming up next. You had to sit and watch.
You had to sit and watch.
But that's what we had. And going outside and connecting with friends, hanging out at the skating rink, hanging out at the shopping malls. Now that was big. That was big for our time.
Yes, for sure.
And
I'm trying to look up MTV. Are you okay over there? Oh, geez. Yeah. Did you break something? Oh my God.
I just had a major malfunction here. I dropped my headset set and then it got caught in the stand for my thing, and it just all right. Never mind.
It was very noisy. August 1st, 1981 is when MTV debuted, just after midnight.
And the very first video played was
Video Killed the Radio Star.
That's correct.
Hey.
That is correct. By the Buggles.
The Buggles.
The Buggles.
Did they have any other songs?
No.
Oh, okay. One hit wonders.
That was all they needed. And then everybody started making videos. Everybody started making videos. But yeah, we would get together and do things like play Monopoly marathon games. And you had games that you played like Dateline, you guys, or what was that one that you guys?
Mystery Date.
Mystery Date. Yes. Yes.
I didn't really play games with my family, though. It was mostly with my girlfriends.
That's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
you get together with your girlfriends and you do
Yeah.
that, and we'd have Monopoly marathons, but most of the time it was out doing things, and it was just a different world. Like I said, we were out there on our bikes, we were all doing things, and we would we would ride around in the back of pickup trucks.
Oh,
Somebody had a pickup truck who was like, "Yay, I'm riding in the back." Nobody
like
cared.
6 of you.
Nobody cared. You had the station wagon. You had
We had the station wagon.
which for some reason during that time everybody thought it was an intelligent to put wood on the side of cars. They made it.
I think ours was blue, though. I don't think we had the wood panel.
You didn't have the wood panels. My grandfather did. You didn't. You had that blue.
We had the blue.
It was huge though. That one.
And because the doors went like this. They opened in the back like this.
Yeah, clamshell. Like one went up, one went down.
Yes, because my dad worked for GM, so we got the fancy station wagon.
And you'd ride in the back. No such thing as seat belts.
Oh my God, no. Blanket, pillow, lay down in the back. Yeah.
No, seat belts, and you'd just be bouncing around, and you got hit every once in a while. Just meant you got knocked from a bad seat to a good seat. Of course, all this is going on while your parents are chain smoking in the car with you in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So we had to survive no seatbelts, secondhand smoke, and just bouncing all over the inside of cars. And we were fine.
Yeah, so we were fine.
We were fine. And now it's like, oh, God forbid, if you light a cigarette on a city street where there's a kid 6 blocks away, you can get in trouble for child endangerment. I'm not saying it's a good thing to blow smoke in a kid's face, but it might toughen them up a little bit. I mean, every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, but that was a whole different thing. And now it's, kids sitting in the front seat on the hump in the front seat.
Oh, yeah.
Standing up at the dashboard, looking over while you're driving down the highway. The kid's just standing up, looking around like a dog,
And your father did the reach around when you were acting up on a long trip?
Yeah.
Don't make me pull his car over.
Yeah. He'd get you. He'd get you every once in a while too if you weren't careful. I remember one of the first times you and I kissed was in the back of that car, and I looked up just in time to see your father looking in the rearview mirror, thinking, "I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man. He's gonna drive me out in the middle of nowhere and kill me."
Nice.
This is a good memory. Is we had a Volkswagen bus, took the back seats out, and just let the kids roll around in there. That's what they did. They would drive from Wisconsin to Syracuse, and pretty much just I think they'd put like blankets or something on the floor of this Volkswagen bus. Yeah. And if we got a little out of control, they'd just throw candy at us.
There you go, a little sugar. Here, shut up.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even back then. They didn't have ADD or any of that stuff. No. You know what they called it back then? They called it being stupid. Now everybody's ADD and this and that. And sometimes it's overdone. It's overdone. This is one of my favorite things that I really miss.
Oh my God. I think that my brother had one exactly like that with the shelves and everything.
I think that is your brother's.
No, he never wore hats, so those hats don't go.
They always looked like that, though.
Why is there a mirror there?
They always had the mirror there.
Oh my
God. It's not like it's a mirror you could comfortably look at. You got to be like your head's got to be pressed against the mattress to see the mirror. I think it probably had to do some sort of sex thing. I don't know, but yeah. But the water beds were big. Did you never had one?
Me personally, no.
Oh, okay. Did you ever sleep on one?
Yes.
Yeah, I had one. Geez, back. I guess it would have been in the 90s. I had it, the beginning of the 90s or the end of the 80s. Towards the end of the 80s, maybe 89, I had one. And it was just so weird.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It had a whole weird smell to it. Had a whole weird feel to it. You're sleeping on a rubber ball with water in it, and you just
Yeah.
it was very strange. I don't know why that went away.
What, the water beds?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're very practical. They're not good for your back.
No, they're not.
You got to fill them up. If they get a puncture, you got to flood.
That's true. And then you got them heated, and then you can have them, yeah. So
they're heavy, like for an upstairs bedroom, like they're heavy. You got to have a structurally good house to have one of those things in there.
Yeah, you can't live in a shitty apartment. You'll land in your neighbor's living room. Just come down, right? Bed and all. Speaking of the smoke, we were talking about smoking in cars. It wasn't that long ago. We were smoking in restaurants.
We were smoking everywhere. We were smoking in the hospitals.
Oh my God, yes.
At your workplace.
Hospitals. I used to work in a hospital in Jersey, and now they didn't let you smoke everywhere, but they had smoking areas.
Yeah, we had smoking rooms. Yeah,
and then you had rooms, and then smoking on airplanes.
Oh yeah,
that never made any sense. But they're like, but we put all the smokers in the back of the plane.
Yeah, the smoking section.
Riddle me this, Batman. Which way are they all looking? And when they blow their smoke, where are they blowing the smoke? They're blowing their smoke to the front of the plane because they're sitting in the back and they're blowing. If they put them in the front and they blow them towards the cockpit, then the pilot would be like what we used to be in the back of the station wagons with our parents smoking, just all the smoke.
Or we could switch them so that like half of the seats are going this way and half are going this way, and then you could just meet in the middle. And
oh, that would have been a good idea. Just you got to blow smoke at each other.
Yeah, there you go. Why not?
But they always had the smoking sections in restaurants too, and they're like, "Oh, we put a divider up," and it's like, really?
Yeah, I know.
It's not even a glass divider. It was like a cloth divider between and you're sitting here eating and you just got smoke coming over at you. And I smoked then, and I still wasn't a fan of it. But yeah, smoking was everywhere. As a matter of fact, we bought our own cigarettes most of the time when we were kids.
Oh yeah,
most of the mom and pop stores would sell them to us.
Yeah,
except for the ones that were really diligent, because they would ask for a note from your parents. And we'd send a note like, please
tell Letty.
Go ahead, read it.
1 pack of Marlboro 100s. If any questions, please call me. Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah. It's get out of school with a note. You can't do that anymore.
No, you got to call, right?
Like if you miss a day of school, but you bring a note from your mom, then they call it, oh, it's all cool. They don't do that anymore.
No, but in high school, they did start calling the houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my brothers got caught a couple times.
Well, I think we all forged our parents' signatures many times for those kind of things.
Please. For a time there, I could write my mother's name better than I could write my own.
Yeah, and there was always that one kid in class that could do any writing. It was always hey, Bobby, come here. Would you write a note for me? Like, yeah, it'll cost a quarter. You'd have to give him a quarter. Back then, if you had 50 cents in your pocket, you could do shit.
Yeah, you could do stuff.
Now you got 50 cents in your pocket. The only thing you could do is make a change sound with your pocket, because that's all there is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God. Walking. We used to walk everywhere when we were
everywhere.
Kids don't walk anywhere anymore. No. You got 10-year-olds saying, can't we just get an Uber? I mean, seriously? How many times did we walk from East Syracuse all the way out to the mall, which was about a 7-mile walk? Yeah.
Were you with us that one night when we were in the mall too late and missed the last bus?
Oh, yeah.
Which was at like 9:00 at night.
Yeah.
So then, like, you don't have a choice. You got to walk home. Nobody had any dimes to call.
That was when we used to go hang out at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
We would sit by the water fountain at the mall, smoke cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't have cigarettes, you just went around to all the little ashtrays outside of every store, and nobody thought about germs.
That's so gross.
But you did it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at half a cigarette, and it's like that one goes, and you'd always have an empty pack of Marlboros and a hard pack because you could put the butts in there.
Yes,
And,
you put the butts in there.
you could, if a half hour of walking around the mall, you could collect a whole pack of cigarettes.
No, I used to do that at home. I used to steal some of my mother's butts.
Well, I
didn't have money to buy any.
Well, I used to steal my mom's cigarettes. But do you know how hard it is to be cool when you're standing out with your guys and they're all smoking Marlboros and you got Virginia Slims? Virginia Slims, the most feminine cigarette ever created. And I'm standing out there with my jeans and my boots and my black T-shirt, and I'm just smoking my Virginia Slim, saying, "Hey, what's up, boys?"
At least my mom used to smoke Kent.
Yes. King size Kent.
Yes.
Oh my God. But we walked everywhere. We weren't afraid to just go places and explore, go play in the woods or do whatever. And just sometimes just go sit with a bunch of kids, sit around and talk.
Yeah, up on the hill.
I don't even know if they do that anymore. Up on the hill, they did that. On Henniger.
Oh yeah. Sometimes on the stairs by our house.
Well, yeah, you were right up at your house and my house were right up against the park.
Yeah, the beginning of the
park. Which was perfect because we could go sit in there. We could sometimes smoke pot, some of the kids, and sometimes just smoke cigarettes.
Some of the kids.
And some of the kids. I'm not going to name any names.
I'm not going to name any names.
I would say they know who they are, but they probably all forgotten. Riding motorcycles, little dirt bikes through there and everything.
Oh my gosh. Didn't you guys get in trouble for riding along that golf course?
Yes. What happened was we had a little mini bike, a little motorcycle, which again, back then it was a dirt bike, but parents would give their kids a dirt bike, not a mini bike, but an actual dirt bike, like a 80cc motorcycle. They'd give it to 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds and say, go ride.
Go ride.
And so your brother and I actually were riding through the golf course and we rode over the greens, which at the time I didn't know how expensive those were to replace or to fix. I didn't think, what's the big deal? It's a tire track on a green. We tore it up pretty good. And we got, all of a sudden we saw police coming after us. So we took off and they didn't see us. We saw them before they saw us. We brought the motorcycle to the house and they started going house to house looking for the motorcycle. So we parked it up back and we let all the air except for a little bit out of the tires. So the tires went from being like this to being like that, like really fat. So when they looked at it, they said, no, these tires are too big. They weren't the ones who did it. That was the only time your brother ever had a good idea, by the way.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But he kept us out of jail, so it was good.
Yeah. Keeping you out of trouble with the cops, that's what he's good for.
Yeah. Well, he should, because he was usually the one that got us into trouble in the first place.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because you were innocent, yes.
All right. I was innocent. No, I wasn't. I was good at talking us out of trouble. Yeah. I was good at talking. I was a good talker. How about sun tanning?
Oh yeah.
When we were kids, we'd go out to Green Lakes, which was our hangout up in New York. People had their own places, but that was the other thing. We would all go, and you would end up with like a group of 15 or 20 kids that all say, "Hey, let's meet at Green Lakes," and you spend a whole day there. You'd have boom boxes the size of a freaking Volkswagen Bug. Two people would have to carry some of these boom boxes. They put them down. We would blast music in hi-fi, which we thought was the ultimate sound. And then we would put banana or tanning oil on. Oh yeah. And lay there. We didn't even know what SPF was.
No.
We had no idea.
We were out there getting sunburned in Syracuse.
Well, in Syracuse, I will grant you this. You can lay in the sun for about a year before the sunburn starts because we don't get that much up in Syracuse. We never got that. No, but we weren't thinking about anything other than get a deep tan. Yeah. And the smell of the Tropic
Hawaiian
Sun,
Tropic.
Hawaiian Tropic tanning oil, to this day will still spark memories of days at Green Lakes with with everybody, all
Yeah, I
the
love that
teenagers hanging
stuff.
out there.
Did you ever actually go in the lake? I don't think I
Ye-
ever actually went in the lake because I didn't want to ruin my hair. I didn't want
No,
to ruin my makeup.
the girls didn't do it, but the guys did because they had a high dive. Remember?
Oh yeah, they had a
And
high
so
dive.
the guys would do it because we'd want to get up there and do the dumbest things possible on the high dive. Like the time I decided I was going to do a belly flop off the high dive and put my bottom tooth through my lip. But and then there was always a kid every day there was an emergency. A kid is missing.
Oh yeah.
So we would all have to hold hands and walk across the lake, hoping one of us would step on the body.
Well, no, not hoping one of you would step on the body.
Well, I thought you won something if you found it. No, I guess not.
I think they prefer to find the kid on land.
Yeah, which they usually did. The kid was usually up at the snack bar.
Yeah.
You know, that was the other thing we had. We
Trying to get something for free.
We had ice cream trucks when we were young.
We did. There's still ice cream trucks, but they're pretty sketchy.
I have not seen a good-looking ice cream truck since like 1992. I mean, every one of them now, I swear, they use it somewhere in Criminal Minds in a TV show. There's an unsub in there just trolling. I mean, but kids would line up. Parents would come out of their houses, and they'd all line up, and they'd all get the rocket pops and this and that, all the other things.
Yeah.
And now they come by, and it's like, you know, that the freezer they're using, there was a body in there about a week before. That's what I swear. And it was just so creepy. Yeah, but we swing sets and playgrounds were different.
Yeah.
Remember playgrounds at school? First of all, some schools, the playgrounds were actually built on the tarmac. There wasn't rubber padding underneath the monkey bars. If you fell, you hit concrete.
Now, see, I went to Catholic school, so we didn't really have playgrounds. We had, over at St. Vincent's, we had the side yard, which butted down to Bernadette, but there was a fence there. So we didn't die. But that's what we did. We just ran around like the grass or the basketball court. We didn't have a playground.
But the Catholic schools, they had the fairs.
Yes.
They always had the fairs. Like public schools, we didn't have those. But your Catholic schools, we had the fairs. And the sketchiest, most dangerous things you can imagine, these rides. The one where you got to get inside a cage and your body gets it moving so it starts flipping and spinning and rolling. And people just flopping around inside these freaking things.
I know, right?
Oh.
That was fun, though.
It was the greatest time. We got to experience things. We got to do things. You know, there was no helmets. There was no. It just, you know, we used BB guns. We wanted to have a gunfight. We weren't shooting. They had Smurfs. What is it? Nerf.
Nerf. Yeah.
They had Nerf products back then, but we didn't use Nerf products. We used BB guns because when you got hit, you knew you got hit. No, I know you had to get shot. You had to get shot by your brothers.
My brother, Chris, used to shoot out of his, remember he had the attic bedroom?
Yeah.
When we were older, and I'd be walking up Melrose, and yeah, I would get shot with BBs. He would shoot out his window. Ridiculous.
He was a little twisted.
Oh my God.
He used to scare the hell out of me.
He used to scare the hell out of me. Who are you kidding?
And Matt, your other brother, was always messing with him. I'm like, don't mess with him, please. Don't make him mad. I'm so scared of him. But that was, again, you know, the BBs and stuff. You survived. There's a lot of people still walking around today with a BB somewhere inside their body.
Yeah, probably.
You know, it's just the way it is. You know, it's like, what's that little bump on your knee? Well, it's a BB from when I was 6. You know, my brother shot me. Oh my God. Jumping on beds.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if kids do it anymore. I mean,
yeah, they
to us, we would jump on them until they'd frickin' break.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Quinn does.
This,
She gets she gets in Mackenzie's crib and jumps in there.
what about big wheels? The most dangerous bikes for little kids. Those big wheels were dangerous.
Oh my God. Our neighbor across the street, this old lady, she used to call the police because Tom was riding his big wheel down the street. Now, you know, we lived on a dead end street. So
Yes.
he'd ride, you know, that one block right down the middle of the street, come back up. And they were a little loud, but I mean, it's a bike. She used to call the police. The police.
Oh my God. Jeez. Anyway, yeah, we got different things like babysitting. You know, people were babysitting at 10 and 11 years old.
I was babysitting.
Latchkey kids. You know, I mean, I don't even know if they have those anymore. I guess they do. They're called abused now. But no, but I mean, I think that was like a thing. Kids would have their keys and they'd go home and they'd be alone. And it's not so much anymore.
No. Yeah, there was no like after school program in our day.
No. Pogo sticks, they don't make those anymore. They're dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Why? You know? I don't know. You just bounce up and down.
Well, yeah, but you can launch yourself. You know, I mean, you're not launching in outer space, but you can launch yourself pretty good and get hurt. Oh, trampolines. Wow. We never had trampolines with netting around them. That was like, what the hell is that? Now every trampoline you see, you got the netting all around it so the kids don't bounce out. We didn't have that.
No,
we had a trampoline. You bounced off the trampoline. Too bad for you.
Shouldn't have got so close to the edge.
That's right.
Or fall through, right?
Oh,
that little spot there, you fall through.
Yeah, you'll fall through where the springs are.
Yeah.
Which if it's been outside for more than a year, they're rusty. So now you got to get a tetanus shot.
Yeah.
You know, which basically every year, if you're not getting a tetanus shot, you haven't played outside enough because you stepped on something or did something.
When I was young, like, I don't know, probably like fourth or fifth grade, in the summer, remember the tar in the street used to get all bubbly? I used to sit out there and pop the bubble. So then, like, the back of my shorts would be all like black tar. My mother would have a fit.
Oh, yeah. I remember sometimes parking your bicycle, it would get so hot. Sometimes the kickstand would sink into the tar a little bit and stuff. Yeah. You know, and then, you know, how about this? We knew how to get dog poop off our shoes.
Oh yeah,
because it happened. It was something that happened.
Always.
Now everybody's walking around with little poop bags, cleaning up after their dogs, but there's no reason because nobody plays outside anymore. I mean, God forbid a kid should step in a dog poop today. They wouldn't know what to do. We knew exactly what to do. First, you got to find, you know, a puddle. and you'd splash the bottom of your shoe.
Or some grass.
Well, if you had the puddle first, then the grass.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the puddle, then you just had the grass. You go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then you had to get a stick.
Yeah.
And pick out the.
I know. So gross. So gross.
But we did it, and it was just like that was part of life. It's just what you did.
Yeah.
We played with fireworks. Nowadays, it's like they don't want kids even playing with sparklers anymore. They're like, oh my God.
I know.
Back when we were kids, they would give us firecrackers. We're safe.
Here you go. Go play in the street.
Yeah, they'd give us a whole big package of firecrackers. And then if you can get an M80, which was
gosh,
it was a quarter stick of dynamite.
Yeah, somebody always had those in my neighborhood.
I don't know where we got them. We always had them. You're right.
Yeah.
And we would always blow shit up. Hey, there's a stump. Let's blow up the stump. Hey, let's drop it in the toilet in school and see what happens. Bad stuff happens.
That's crazy.
Atari was when kids started hanging inside. Now, Ataris came in right around the same time as cable TV and stuff. And they had the Pong game.
Yeah.
Boop, boop. That was all they had. And we had the color Atari, which was actually, it came with the regular Pong in black and white, but they gave you a green piece of cellophane that you would tape over this TV screen so it looked like it was green, like a tennis court.
Oh, green screen.
Yes. But I mean, we're joking about a lot of this stuff, and all these different things. But I feel like it's like these are experiences that kids just don't have anymore.
No.
The way they connect with each other and the way they communicate with each other, the way they interact with each other and play with each other is so completely different now from what it was back then. Back then, you had to rely on your imagination. You had to rely on being physical and going out and doing things and walking and doing all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I hate to see what's it going to be in another 20 years.
I know, right? Yeah.
But, and I think, I don't want to go backwards. I know technology is not a horrible thing. It's not, but even this, this is cool. We're able to talk. You're in Rochester. I'm down in Florida. We're able to do this. This is really cool. But, we still miss something when you could text somebody instead of talking to somebody.
Yeah.
You wanted to ask a girl out. You couldn't text them. You had to either write them a note that was going to fall into the wrong hands, and you knew it. You knew it. Or you had to call her house and pray her mom didn't answer the phone.
Or her dad, which probably would have been worse.
And speaking of calling their house, you had to remember the phone number up here in your brain.
Do you remember your phone number?
Unfortunately, I don't remember a lot of that.
I know what ours was.
Do you really? What were the last four digits?
Oh, 6036.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah. Right?
We had a 17 in the end of our phone number. There was a 17.
We had 6036.
Yes. That was wow.
I know, right?
But you had to know, because we had a lot of friends.
Yes.
And phone time was a privilege too. That was like,
oh my gosh.
To get on the phone and not have somebody try to get on the phone with you and do other things. But you had to remember everybody's phone numbers. So a girl would write it down for you, or a guy would write down her phone number, and pretty much you would have that for a short period of time. After that, if it's not in the vault up here,
forget it.
You had to call them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Popping caps with rocks and cap guns and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have those anymore.
Oh, and even skipping rocks.
Skipping rocks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's like, don't pick up a rock because, it's a hate crime. No, I'm kidding. You don't know. It's so bad. But yeah, having to phone call people, different things like that. We used to make backyard water slides. The slip and slide, they don't even have slip and slides anymore because they're dangerous.
Really?
Yeah, now they've got them. They're not the same. Maybe they still do have them. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I did get Quinn I forget what they call them, but it's like the water pad. It's got the sprinkler on the side, but it's like a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other ones were like the long.
Yeah.
People would, of course, we were stupid. We put them out in the street, and then slide on and wonder, I don't know how I got hurt.
Did you used to like soap up or oil up too, so you could go faster on it?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And God forbid that water stopped, got a kink in the hose or something. Oh, a little rash happening.
Oh, you get the burn because it was just tearing the skin right off your hide.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. It is crazy. I miss a lot of the old stuff. I just wish I'm not sure kids could even understand how we survived and what we did back then.
Right.
But there's something lost. There's something lost in how people do things now. Not being able to call somebody even, not having instant access to information.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody asked you a question, if you didn't know it, you didn't know it.
Right.
It's like wait a minute, that guy, what was that guy in? What movie was that guy in? And everybody would just look at each other and say, I don't know. And that was the end of the conversation.
Right.
Now you Google it. It's like, oh, wait, he was the janitor on Blossom, and it's like, oh, yeah. Everybody, you could just Google everything. And that's too much information, too easy.
Well, speaking of Googling, there was no Googling. Do you remember trying to do any homework, any amount of report? You had to get the encyclopedia out. You had to look it up. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't understand what an encyclopedia is, because you might not have ever even seen one. It's like a dictionary on steroids. And those were a big purchase. If a family had a set of Britannica encyclopedias,
I was going to say that the name, yeah.
The other one was World Book Encyclopedias. If you had a set of those, you were doing good. But the problem is that there's no update. And like I said, you watch the news at night to find out what was going on in the world. You read newspapers. You barely even see newspapers anymore.
Oh, do they even make newspapers anymore?
I think they make them. But back then, everybody had a job. I did for a while. Everybody did as a paper boy. At least once in your life, you served as a paper boy if you're in our generation.
My brother did.
The guys especially, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. You delivered papers. And you get up and you go out at 5 a.m., 7 days a week. You're throwing papers on people's lawns. Then you had to go to collect money from them.
Yeah.
Why? Because there was no other way to pay. They couldn't pay over the phone. There was no debit cards. We carried cash with us everywhere we went.
Yeah, we carried cash. If you had cash, we carried cash.
And one of my favorite things, concerts.
Oh, yes.
Concerts back then. Half the experience of a concert was being able to get tickets.
Yes.
And getting tickets, there was no internet. Oh, calling into radio stations trying to win contests.
Trying to win contests, yeah.
Yeah, and if you were lucky, you had a touch-tone phone.
Yeah.
If you had a rotary dial, you were pretty much screwed. You had one shot. Because if you tried to do that more than 3 or 4 times, you could break your finger. It was just, and sometimes standing in line overnight for concert tickets.
Yeah, at the actual box office.
At the box office or at the record store, sometimes they would have.
Oh yeah.
And you would go to the mall and wait in line at the mall.
Yeah.
But yeah, just completely different. It's not even recognizable. And the things that we have today that I would never even thought of. In my life would I have thought I could carry around a phone that would be about this big in my pocket, or there would be a phone in my watch.
Yeah, right.
Which is funny now because now most people are wearing watches that they use as phones, and then they check the time on their phones. Everything's screwed up. Everything's backwards.
Everything's backwards.
But yeah, we wouldn't have even thought of that. There was just. The thought of electric cars, the thought of even just the cars that they have today and stereo systems the way they are. We didn't have electric windows.
No.
Do you remember when they first came out? How cool?
Our station wagon had them.
Yeah. And how many times you get in trouble because you were playing with them?
I know, right?
Or the electric locks. You get in the car, you're like,
yeah. Yeah.
Electric lock, you press a button, the lock goes down. Old locks, you had to press the lock and the lock would go down. You're still pressing a button. It really wasn't that big a deal. But you could lock all the doors at once. That was the cool thing.
You could lock all the doors at once, which was a plus when you're a girl driving in the car alone, because my very first car did not have electric anything. And so if I got nervous about something, I'd have to check all of them and make sure all four are locked.
Yeah, it's not like you're driving around with cell phones or anything. You're on your own. When you left the house, whether you're a child or a young adult or whatever, you were truly on your own until you reached a destination.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, we got GPS tracking on our children now. The phones, they're not implanted in the children. Not yet. Not yet, but that'll be next.
I'm sure they may be in some parts of the country.
Yeah, I think that we should put trackers on some people. I think that would be.
Some people.
I think there are some. You know, we'll talk about that next time we get back into a true crime podcast.
Right.
And we got to say, if you looked at the ad, our friend Debbie was supposed to be joining us, who
Yes.
was your childhood friend. I knew her as well. We all hung out together for a period of about a year and a half or so, when we were all hanging together,
Yep.
same neighborhood and doing the same things. And she was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, she had a death in the family. So we wish her the best and her family the best.
We
obviously.
do, yes.
But we'll invite her back. But she, she shared in all those things, and
Oh yeah.
I think one of my favorite things that I missed was the phone cords, because kids, get this: the phone was attached to the wall. Okay, you had to pick it up, and there was a cord. You couldn't walk too far because the cord had to go into the wall. And kids have never seen this shit. They don't know what that means.
Right.
But what would end up happening was you would buy longer and longer and longer phone cords, so that you'd walk into somebody's house, you just see this phone cord stretched across from room to room. You had a huge one in your room, didn't you?
Not in my room, but in our kitchen phone, we
Oh,
had
your
a
kitchen phone.
long one, because we used to be able to go down the side hallway, almost out the side door, to get some privacy when you're on the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or for your parents to yell outside, "Therese, phone!"
Yeah, right. Yeah. Our phone never rang though, because Matt usually had it tied up.
He was the girl.
He was the girl. Although I was pretty cool when I got my own phone in my own room. I had to pay the bill, but my father did get it installed and paid the first bill for me for one of my birthdays.
Do you remember at all how much that cost to have a phone in your room?
Oh my God, probably like $19.
A year or a month?
A month. I had to pay monthly.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was that much, because $19, $20 was a lot of money back then.
Yeah. But I remember I used to save a 20 from like babysitting and stuff, because I babysat, pretty regularly.
Yeah.
From like age 12 to like 17. So, and I do remember I used to, like, as soon as I get paid, I'd put the 20 outside.
Yeah. That's the other thing. You don't see babysitting that much anymore either.
No.
You know? It's not
especially
always...
not for $1 an hour. Holy crap.
Is that what you were getting?
Yes.
$1 an hour?
It was a big deal when I started getting $3 an hour for 2 kids.
Yeah. I love my kids, but I'm not going to pay more than $1 an hour to keep them safe. I'm sorry. It's just...
Yes.
Wow. Just imagine that. You can't get anybody to do anything for $1.
No. Not even the dollar store.
Your youngest is in college and stuff. She comes home and you say, "Hey, do me a favor, go do the dishes for $1." She'd laugh her ass off.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's just different. But anyway, that was the 80s. That was the thing. I don't want to get talking about neon.
Oh, geez.
Our fashion. Everything. Neon, spandex.
Leg warmers.
Tight jeans.
Oh my gosh. Put them in the dryer. Make them even tighter.
Yes, they had the Jordache jeans.
Yeah, paint it on.
Yes, that's right, because they called them Jordache because Jordache sticks out when you wear them.
Which was the goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
You wanted, the tighter the jeans, the better. Guys and girls.
Yes.
There were not a whole lot of secrets back then when you were wearing those tight jeans for guys.
No.
There's no modesty at all. The rock stars, it's like, oh, really?
But I used to have to lay down on the bed to zip mine up sometimes.
Right, yeah.
Who cares? You can't breathe. That looks good.
Yeah, that was after you having to spend 2 hours getting your hair ironed and puffed and this and that.
Oh, no irons. I was all about the curl, the flip, the feather. Yeah.
And the guys, we just long hair.
Yeah.
We were pretty basic. Jeans with holes in them, rock and roll T-shirts of some kind.
They still have the jeans with the holes in them. You just got to pay a lot more for them now.
Yeah, I know. Really.
You don't wear them in anymore. You buy them that way.
Yeah, you know. I know. Could you imagine? I mean, back in the day, going to Sears and buying jeans with holes in them, it's like people would have said, "Why would you buy those?"
I know.
And we'd take them home. We'd have to rip our own holes and do all that. Now, hey, they got stuff called distressed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so different, so different. But I just, if your parents out there, if you guys are listening, if anybody wants to share this with people, please do. But share these times with your kids, because first of all, just the look on their face is priceless when you try to explain some of this shit to them.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain AM radio to my kids, and they're like, "Well, I don't listen to the radio in the morning," and I'm like, "No, that's not what AM radio is."
It's not all the time.
Yeah,
Nothing you want to listen to.
Yeah, no. And that in calling in radio shows and doing things like that, trying to get your request played on the radio.
Oh yeah.
If you're out and about, it was like a moment, a miraculous moment if your favorite song came on.
Yeah.
Nowadays, your phones, whatever you've got with you, the on-demand music and everything else, you could hear anything anytime you wanted. That wasn't the case back then. You wanted to hear the new Poison song that just came out from one of the long hair bands or something.
Yeah.
You waited and waited and waited, or you actually called the DJ at the radio station, said, "I'd like to request a song." And that's how we did it.
In the next 3 hours, they may play it for you.
Yeah, they may. They
may. I remember Casey Kasem's Countdown.
Yes.
I remember waiting in my room with my little tape recorder machine right next to the radio, waiting for my favorite songs to come on so I could hit the record and play at the same time without any talking, get my song, and then you have to stop it in time.
Oh, cassettes. We thought cassettes were the bomb because we could actually finally make our own mixtapes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah.
And that was, if you made a good mixtape, it was golden. And Casey, I loved Casey. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. That was his whole thing, right?
It was his whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, he was like 100 years old then when he was doing that. But,
he had a good radio voice, though.
Yeah. He was perfect for radio.
Yeah.
And we never gave it a thought. America's top 10 songs and the top 100 and the countdown.
Oh yeah, in the holidays they used to do the top 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, remember Jerry Lewis marathons?
Yes. The telethon.
Was that for Labor Day?
I think it was Labor Day. Yes.
I think it was Labor Day too. Yeah. Well, oh my God, that was on our TV the whole weekend long.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you'd have Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin would come out and all these different people, and it's like, it was like some big event, and the whole family knew what was going on. We all gathered around it. If you wanted music, you bought a record.
Yeah.
You bought a record. You didn't download one song. You wanted to hear Thriller. You bought the album Thriller.
Yeah.
But that's why those bands, the bands will never even be the same again. Because Taylor Swift comes out with a new song, people download that song.
Yeah.
Back then, when Queen came out with one of their new albums, you had to buy the whole album, which means you listened to all of their songs. And that's why you would have albums like Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
Yeah.
With just so many great songs. Whereas today you couldn't have that because people don't take the time to listen to them.
No, they want to hear their favorite.
They want to hear their favorite.
Yeah.
But wow, we've blown through our hour.
Awesome.
On the 80s. I hope you guys had a totally awesome time going back a little bit. I've had fun talking about it. It just kind of brought back, and I just keep getting flooded with more thoughts and memories of the good times and stuff. There was a different feeling. There was a freedom of being a kid, and I mean a kid, like a young teenager and a teenager, and there was kind of like this whole freedom that I'm afraid is lost now. And I hope one day we can find a way to bring it back, and we can get people away from too much electronics and too much downtime, and get people out there and doing things, and kids playing in the neighborhood again, and hearing, putting baseball cards and bicycle spokes and listening to, and thinking that's just such a cool sound. The simplest things we miss out on them, and it's really a shame, So, I mean, do you ever talk to your kids about this stuff and have them look at you sideways?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a big difference between the two older and Tara, even in the way they grew up, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Because what is the age difference between the oldest and youngest?
14 years.
Same with my kids. My oldest, 14 years older than the youngest. And the difference is, we didn't have computers in our houses.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? No computer. No such thing as internet. And if these guys ever heard a dial-up sound with an internet, remember the AOL dial-up?
I played that sound for Tara one night. I'm like, do you know what this sound is? She's like, no. It was funny.
I saw you do a TikTok thing with her where you were asking her questions, and she's like, I never heard of that. I don't know what that is.
I know. That was funny, right?
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, Therese, this has been cool.
It was fun.
We'll keep you up to date. We'll bring you more stuff like this. Please ask us if there's something you would like to do or something you'd like to talk about. Bring back the old days. Talk about relationships. Hey, we even still open to talk about true crime. Whatever you want to do, let us know. We just like spending time with all of you out there, and Therese and I like spending time with each other, and this is just a great venue for us. So please join in, and if anybody wants to join us on the show sometime, that'd be fun too. That'd be fun too.
That would be fun.
No serial killers. That's the only thing we ask. No serial
killers.
No serial killers. Which means once you kill more than 3 people, you're not allowed on the show. Under 3, come on. Come on. All right. Any final thoughts, Therese?
No, just nostalgic over here. Fun talk.
Fun talk. Go outside and play. Have some fun, and grab a Frisbee. I know it's going to freak everybody out. It's going to freak your kids out the first time you throw a Frisbee at them. But they're either going to catch it or they're going to learn to duck. So
right.
Go have some fun. Thanks for joining us right here on the X's Podcast. We will catch you next time. Everyone out there, take care.